Welcome back to Universe. I'm Andrew, and in this video I am playing the Nostalgix TCG. So as I'm recording, this just fulfilled from Kickstarter and had its retail release. So this should be available in game stores as well. I'm playing with a couple of the starter decks. The heroes are Detective Mako and Bilaask, and those are the only foils in the decks. So any other foils you see are actually upgrades that I made. I made a few small upgrades using some Secret Shards packs, which were and or are available through their Patreon. I don't have all of them, but I picked up a couple of them. So in Nostalgix, the goal is to either collect all 10 prizes. So you start with 10 prizes dealt out, and when you defeat an enemy fighter, you can remove one of your prizes. And when you've removed the last one, you win. Alternatively, you can reduce your enemy hero down from their maximum health to nothing. So each of our heroes here has 40. On this side, I'm playing as Detective Mako. It's a little bit of a foiling on this card. I'm not sure if you see that past the gloss on the sleeve, but his hero ability is once per turn, I can pay a mana to reveal a face down card or look at the top of my deck. And then Bilaask's ability, once per turn, can add a prize counter to your opponent's pool, but you lose 5 health. So if your opponent is trying to win via followers, you can pay your own health in order to prevent that win condition. So it's safer to have more followers out, because playing a lot of followers can be a risk because they yield prizes when defeated. So I've already drawn opening hands. Actually, I mulliganed for that player. I didn't look at this hand yet, which is actually a nice opportunity because I only drew one fighter, and I think I'd like more fighters. None of these are, so I'm going to use the mulligan. You can choose any number of cards to mulligan away, and you can either shuffle them into your deck or put them on the bottom of your deck. And I think for these, I think it's in a random order. So I'm going to put these at the bottom of my deck on the random order and redraw the other 5 cards. And I believe you can only do that one time. So this is, I'm locked in now, and I can start my first turn by gaining 1 mana, which I'll use this little counter I made to track. I have 1 maximum mana, and I'm going to have 1 current mana to spend this turn. And every turn my maximum mana will go up by 1, and then my current mana will match it. And I don't have anything that costs 1, so that'll end my turn. I could use my hero power to spend a mana to look at a face down card or the top of my deck, but it's not going to help me, so I'll pass the turn. All right, and this player can also gain 1 mana and 1 current mana. Forgot to number the current mana. And draw a card. And I think the rules don't actually say that the first player skips their first draw, so I think the player should have drawn as well. And this is a big retcon, but they actually did draw a fighter, the Spookula. So you can take a look at a fighter awkwardly on the enemy player's turn. But it's a 1 cost, so we're going to spend their mana for that side. 2 health, has a couple other abilities, and an attack for 2, but it can't attack the turn it's played. So we'll just put that out. You can have up to 7 fighters out. And then we'll continue with Bilaask's turn. They do have a couple fighters that cost 1, but unfortunately they have only 2 health, and that fighter there would deal 2 damage to it with its attack. So we do have this one though. The Demley has Lifesteal and Infectious Touch, which is just an attack to deal 1 damage, but it's got 3 health, so it'll be able to survive the Spookula's attack if they make it. So we'll bring that out, spending the mana, and pass back. All right, so Mako can gain 1 maximum mana, 2 current mana, draw a card. And now we can do multiple things. First of all, I do think we will use Spookula to attack. We can do, oops, there you are. We are going to attack with Spookula. And so let's take a closer look here. This is the attack. So it says rain down 2. So the 2 is the damage. There's a couple other abilities. It's immune to binding, and if it is attacked, it deals 1 damage in retribution. And we can attack either the enemy fighter, which has a 40 health, or we can attack Demley, and I think we will hit Demley. Fighters don't get to do anything in retribution, so I'm just going to put 2 damage onto Demley, which is going to stay there. And we should remember that we already attacked with Spookula this turn. Then I think I'm going to get things off to an interesting start with one of the iconic cards of the game, which is Lucky Frog. And again, this is a foil version. This deck did come with a Lucky Frog, but this is an upgraded version that I had. So I'm going to spend both of the 2 mana to bring that out. And this has the ability called Charge, which means it can attack on the same turn it's played. It also has a basic ability which lets each player draw an extra card at the start of their turn. But Legendary Lily attack, as you can see, doesn't have a number. It doesn't do any damage. But when we attack with it, we're going to be rolling a die and checking for an even number. So I'm going to grab one of these dice, which I'll be using to track hero health. A 9 is odd, so Lucky Frog does not prove to be lucky this time, and that's all we can do. So for Bilaask, we'll go up to 2 mana and draw a card. Actually, 2 cards because of the Lucky Frog. And on top of that, I skipped something important. So whenever I play, I just start with the player who is on that side of the table. But in Nostalgix, you're actually meant to flip a coin or roll a die to see who goes first. And then that coin or die is actually used and given to the player who ends up going second as a token to mark that they can spend it as a mana. So this player should have a coin that can be spent for 1 mana 1 time. So here I have my Bulbasaur coin that will be assigned to player 2. And they'll get a temporary mana boost when they need it. The Demley's Infectious Touch attack just does 1 damage, but it has the Lifesteal ability, which means it can heal for the same amount of damage it deals. So I'm going to have Demley attack the Lucky Frog, which will heal Demley and deal 1 to the Lucky Frog out of its 3 health. We don't want to attack Spookula because it deals damage in return, but we will play this spell, Pins and Needles. So this is the first spell we're seeing. We're going to spend 1 of our 2 available mana for that. It says deal 2 damage to anything. And we'll just take out the Spookula, which means we get to claim 1 of our prizes, down to 9. And then I'm going to spend my other mana to play Anchar. So this is a 1 cost, 2 health fighter with a 1 damage attack, but it has binding, which means when it hits a hero, or a fighter rather, that fighter can't attack on its hero's next turn. So that guy will come out. A spell should be in our void, the discard pile, and we'll save the coin. All right, Mako is up to 3 mana. Draw 2 more cards, making sure the pace of the game doesn't slow down. Not loving my hand though, despite having all these cards. So I'm going to attack with Lucky Frog. Actually not sure if I have to choose what to attack since it's actually not dealing damage. But I guess to be safe, we'll say we're attacking Bilaask. And we'll roll to check for an even number. It is an 8, so we get to draw again. I have to be careful about playing fighters with low health because now that they have 2 fighters, they can attack for only 1 each. But if I play anything with 2 health or less, it's pretty much guaranteed to be able to get picked off. I just noticed another mistake I made. If we take a close-up look at Lucky Frog, you can see at the bottom it has a weakness and a resistance. The resistance is actually empty. There's nothing there. But under weakness, there's a little icon there. That is the dark type. And Demley is a dark type. So you can see that icon matches up here. So that 1 damage should have been 2, which is disappointing. So we're going to have to be careful about that. Opponent's weaknesses are to fire and earth, but I don't have any of those. But this Liddy does have a resistance to dark, so Demley wouldn't be able to damage it, which is okay. It says when it's played, we can reveal one of our opponent's surprises, which is something we haven't gotten into yet. Hopefully we'll be able to see that before the end of the game. And it does extra damage for each of our own surprises. So I'm just going to play Liddy for now. And then maybe next turn we'll play a surprise and stack up that tail flick damage. I'll also play a friend for 2. This is a mystic type. Liddy was a light type. And basically if we have more than 1 friend out, they can stack up into a single fighter, which means if it gets defeated, our opponent only gets to take 1 prize, but they can hit hard. It also stacks up their health, and then their attack, Fist of Friendship, is 2 times how big your stack is. But for now, we just have 1 friend, and that will end our turn. So Bilaask gets 3 mana this time, and draws 2 from the frog. Wondering if they should even kill the frog, but probably. So I think I will have Demley attack the Lucky Frog. It's weak to dark, although it doesn't matter because the 1 damage would be enough to finish off its 3 health. But Demley has Lifesteal, so it'll gain its damage back, or its health back. And on top of that, so take a prize, we just want to be able to use Anchar to attack something else because of its binding ability. So we can go ahead and attack, let's say, Liddy because of its resistance to dark. So Demley wouldn't be able to hit it, and it's bound, so we'll indicate that with a 90-degree rotation. And bring out another dark type, Cadaver. This is a 4 health. It has weakness to light, but we've locked down the Liddy with binding. So I'm going to spend 3 plus the coin to pay that 4 cost. If it dies, it comes back as a weaker version, but it also has a big 4 damage Deep Fang attack. So that's what we're looking for. And pass the turn. We go to 4 mana. It's Detective Mako, but we only get 1 card this time. We're not going to be able to use surprises to give Liddy a big attack with Tail Flick. Now we at least can take Binding off the table because Fist of Friendship does 2 damage at least. We can hit that 2 health Anchar, and now we don't have to worry about getting bound up anymore. And then I'm going to spend my 4 mana to play. I'm going to play Mirage. It's got 2 R's, so I assume I have to roll it. It's 4 cost, 7 health, nice and beefy, no weakness or resistance. It is a untyped fighter, normal type, and doesn't have any attacks of its own, but it has all the attacks of our opponent's fighters. So we can make that 4 damage Deep Fang attack next turn, hopefully. Okay, up to 4 on this side for Bilaask, and draw a card. At the end of the turn, Liddy should go back, no longer bound. I think doing Deep Fang on friend makes sense. Just maximize that damage. 4 damage against 4 health gives us another prize. Demli can't hit Liddy because of its dark type resistance, but we can attack. Well, we can attack the fighter directly. I think I will attack the Mirage and put 1 damage there. We don't have anything left to lifesteal. This is tough, but I think I want to play Chains of the Deep. So that's a spell, costs 2, and it does 2 damage to a fighter and binds it. So now they can't attack with the Mirage on the next turn and deal 4 damage back to us. The problem is now I only have 2 left, and the only thing I can do, you know what? I was holding on to this, but I'm just going to play it. Our Demli has survived for a while, so I'm going to go ahead and play another Demli. Obviously, this is the upgraded Secret Shards version. So now we have 2 of those out, and I am hesitant to do so, but I'm going to also play this Pigma. It only has 2 health. So Liddy could take it out if they just play a surprise and choose to pick it off. But I'm going to let him. I'm going to use all my mana and bring out a bunch of fighters. To 5 mana, halfway to the maximum of 10. I didn't even notice that Cadaver has a weakness to light. So now our Liddy can get through. Instead of picking off Pigma, we can play a surprise. So I'm going to spend 3 of my mana going down to 2, and I'm going to play a surprise. So this is a card that goes face down. It is revealed when it is triggered by the effect on the card. I'm going to keep that secret for now from my opponent as well as from you. And I'm going to spend the other 2 mana on this Lunarva. Cost 2. It has an ability that we could return one of our opponent's surprises to their hand, but they don't have any. But I just want to get it down. It does have a resistance to dark as well, so that is nice. And now that we have a surprise, Liddy's Tail Flick does 2 damage, but that is actually doubled to 4 against Cadaver because of the light weakness. Or we could take out Pigma because the Cadaver again has the ability that says when it is voided by battle, bring it back as a 1 health cat token copy without this ability. So I guess it would still have Deep Fang. Pretty wild. Although Pigma can just have them damage themselves. I am going to take out the Cadaver. So this is taken out. We get a prize. It comes back as a 1 health cat. Technically this is in their discard pile. So let's do this instead. We'll put an unsleeved card from outside the game and mark that with a 1. Although it does still have that 4 damage attack, I believe. And that's all we can do. Bilaask goes to 5 mana and draws. I think we'll use this 4 damage attack on the cat token while we can. 4 damage is just enough to finish Mirage, almost as if we planned it that way. However, Detective Mako predicted it, and the secret actually gets sprung right now. The saving grace means that Mirage is left with 1 health remaining. If it had been bound or something by the attack, that would be canceled, and it's invulnerable until the end of the turn. So they get at least 1 more attack out of that. The Demlis are in tough shape because the other remaining fighters are resistant to dark, so maybe it's the time for the first hero attack of the game, and we'll just send them both with their infectious touches against Detective Mako directly, putting him down to 38. And let's have Pigma attack Liddy, see if we can get that out of the way. I don't know if we looked at Pigma's attack there, but basically we roll a d6. If it is even, that is how much damage we deal. If it is odd, our hero takes that much damage. And yeah, we're gonna attack Liddy with that. So we got an even number, 4. So Liddy takes 4 damage and is taken out, bringing us down to 6 prizes. And we have 5 mana, which is awkward because we have a lot of things that cost 3. I'm going to play a Pillfish for 3, and we're going to end up wasting that too. But it's 4 health and the ability to draw a card when it attacks. So we'll bring that out. We are running out of room. We're allowed to have 7, so we're at 5 now. Might have to move our void pile a little bit if we actually hit 7. Now we're up to 6 for Detective Mako. Got another Mirage. Really need to be picking off our opponent's fighters, I think. Let's use this 4 damage and just take out the Pillfish and claim a prize for that. And then we can use Lunarva's 2 damage to attack the cat token. We're supposed to choose a card from our hand. If it's a surprise, the attack does 3 damage. We only needed to do 1, but we may as well see a card from our opponent's hand. So I'll re-roll on a 6. That's a 6. And a 1 means I'll look at this first card here and see that they have another Pillfish coming. Not a surprise, so it just does 2 damage, but that will take out the cat token. Tokens rather do not yield prizes. Actually, I just checked back in this tiny little rule book that came in the starters. I did not find anything that said tokens don't yield prizes. I'm not sure why I thought that. Tokens do not take up any of your 7 slots, but I couldn't find anything that said they don't yield prizes, so I am going to claim one for Detective Mako and even things up. And then with the 6 mana, I'm going to play another Lunarva and a Witchy Longlegs, which is a Mystic type. It says our adjacent fighters have no weaknesses, although these 2 are weak to metal, and I don't know that there are any metal types over there. Mirage doesn't even have a weakness. Hat Trick deals 3, or Party Trick lets us draw a card on an even roll, but the 6 health is nice. And I'm going to put it here just in case they do pull a metal card. And again, we have 1 more slot over here if we need to move the Void out of the way. I'll just move it now. And 2 more over here. That is all 6 mana, all our attacks. So we're done. And 6 mana on this side. Let's see if we can keep up the advantage, although kind of lost the advantage. 4 damage attack is gone. Mirage can't attack for 4 anymore. In fact, it only has 1 more health, so we can just take it out with a Demley. Let's do that. And at least that 7 health big attacker's out of the way. Though, again, its attacks are not particularly big anymore. But I think we will play another Pillfish, so we wouldn't want them to be able to draw a card with that. Let's see how lucky we are with a Pigma attack against Witchy Longlegs. I'm going to roll a die looking for an even number. An odd number, we actually take that much damage. So our 40 goes down to 35 from our own attack. Guess let's start working down Witchy Longlegs with a 1 damage attack. And that's all our attacks. And then I'm going to spend the last 3 to play a secret, in part because these 2 Lunarvas both have the opportunity to reveal cards from our hand. And if they hit a secret, that will add to the damage. So I want to have fewer secrets in my hand in case they start attacking me. 7 mana. Things are getting bigger. Oh no, just drew a card I would have liked to have earlier. I'm going to attack with Lunarva first against a Pillfish, because if we hit a secret, that will deal +3 damage and do a 1-shot. So I'm going to roll 1 to 4 and reveal this card, which is not a secret. And it's interesting the way this card is worded. It says choose a card from your opponent's hand and reveal it. It doesn't say at random. So now that we've revealed that one, I'm going to presume when we attack with this Lunarva, we could choose not to reveal that same card again. Not sure how that works. Just logically, that seems to make sense. But that's going to be 2 damage on the Pillfish. The question is, do we want to use the 3 damage attack to finish it off? Do we want to risk it with the Lunarva to see if we can hit for 5? Although if we bother trying to hit for 5, that would probably be a direct attack. Maybe it makes more sense to pick off fighters, because Witchy Longlegs can take out Demley. So let's do that and just get that out, and we will target the fighter. So Lunarva will attack the Pillfish to finish it off. We'll roll 1, 2, 4, 6 on their hand. A 2 will reveal this card, and that actually is another secret, so it does 5 damage, but doesn't matter. It only had 2 health left on the Pillfish, and just like that, we have 4 prizes left. And Bilaask might want to start using their ability. I'm going to play another Mirage for 4, and then for 3. Actually, hold on, because this triggers secret that Bilaask did play, which is a Replica, which is actually the same, another copy of the card we've just revealed from their hand. But Replica says that when we make a fighter, they get a 0 attack token with health equal to this health, and it has taunt, which means all our attacks have to go against the taunter. So I'm going to put this out and mark that it has 7 health, and that is their Replica of Mirage, which interestingly copies other things. But nonetheless, then we can, fortunately we got all our attacks done, and now we can continue doing our stuff. And I think I'm going to play this secret. Put it there. Now we'll clean up our little mess of a hand here. Go to 7 mana on this side. See what Bilaask can do. I think we do need to use this ability. Once per turn, we can add a prize counter to our opponent's pool, but we lose 5 health. So we're down to 30, but we don't want them to be able to just pick off our small things, and we do need to keep playing things. See if we can take out that Witchy Longlegs because it hits hard. And so we're gonna have Pigma attack it, rolling, looking for evens. Got an even number is 4, which means this has 5 damage on it out of 6, which is very nice. So Demley can finish it off, and that brings us down to 4 prizes. Clear out this void as well, just to make room just in case. No more attacks, and these are going to be annoying because they are resistant to dark. And I'm just going to flood the board with Demleys. We do have a Taunter here in the middle. Cost 2, and we're going to play our other replica. Not much of a secret because our opponent knows about it. And that's all we can do. 8 mana now, but we're running out of cards to actually use it on. Just kidding. And I missed this trigger, but we actually prepared the perfect card as a surprise. The yellow card says if your opponent played 3 or more cards during one turn, we draw 3 cards and discard 1. And we actually played 2 Demleys and a secret, so we get to draw 3. And I guess we should have done this during their turn, so I'm going to resolve this way, and then I'll draw for my turn afterward. I'm going to discard that one and then draw for my turn. But if we attack, we have to go for their taunt thing. And we know they have another of the same card in their hand, so 2 cards in hand. There's a good chance that it's the secret we saw, the other copy of Replica, which it is, but just thinking on this player's side, we know that. I probably don't want to play this card this turn, but we don't have a great other option. I'm going to use Lunarva to attack Pigmite. But first, I want to use Pigmite's attack with my Mirage. So I'm going to, but again, they have the Taunter. So first thing is I'm going to play a spell, which is a Springboard, which says it will return a fighter and all equipment to the owner's hand, and that'll just poof the token out of existence. And now we can attack freely. So we're going to have Mirage attack a Demley, and we're hoping for a 4 or a 6. We got a 5, which means our own guy takes 5. Sorry, Detective Mako. Then we'll take out Pigmite with a 2 damage attack. We get to reveal a card from their hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to reveal this card, which is not a secret. That is an equipment card. We haven't used that yet, but it still does 2 damage, which is enough to take out Pigma. So that is 4 prizes left on our side. And I guess we'll just go ahead and attack Demley again for 2, revealing the other card, which is also not a secret. So it's just going to do 2 damage there. And then I'm going to play 2. Oh, I only have 5 left. So I guess we'll play 1 secret, which will be this one. All right, up to 8 mana. Only 2 cards in hand. Draw the 3rd one. Oh no, we had 2 Pillfish and they both got defeated. I just drew the evolution for Pillfish, Plundrak. I guess if I knew my deck better, I might not have risked it, hoping to draw a Pillfish later. But as you can see, it says it evolves from Pillfish, which means we can't play this unless we have a Pillfish from which to evolve it, which is actually the problem we have for this card as well. So the only thing we can use is this card, which actually doesn't help us that much. So this is the equipment that got revealed. It's a supermassive slingshot. It is an equip card, which means it takes up one of our 6 spell / surprise / equipment slots. But when you attach it, or when you play it, you attach it to either one of your fighters or your hero. And then you just kind of have to remember somehow either it's in one of your slots and taking up the slot physically, or you physically attach it to the card, but you have to remember that it's taking up one of your slots. But anyway, you can, if you put this one on a fighter, it gives that fighter the ability to attack right away, as well as that ability to its neighbor on the left. So I was thinking about doing like a double Demley super fast attack last turn, but didn't quite have the mana for it if I wanted to play this secret, and it wasn't even going to be particularly exciting. Alternatively, we can attach to our hero and give it +2 attack, which would allow it to attack. So we haven't seen a hero attack yet because they don't have an attack value, but that would give it one, which might be what we need to do to start picking off Lunarvas. We can't even do that because our Demleys can't help. Do think we need to use the hero ability, going down to 25 and giving them a prize back. I'm gonna have to play Supermassive Slingshot to give my hero +2 attack. We can either do 2, 3, 4, 5 against Mirage, or I could do 1, 2, 3 against Mirage and start putting 2 onto the Lunarva one at a time. I think that's what I'll do. So 1, 2, 3 against Mirage, and that also means this one gets to heal 1, and then this attack for 2 We'll go here, put it down to 2 health remaining, and that's all we can do. Detective Mako started off pretty weak, but he's doing better now for sure. Just have an army of Demleys over there, which means our Mirage's attack isn't very strong. So on this side of the table, we know our Lunarvas have a at most 50-50 chance of getting pumped, which actually means one would get pumped and one would not. That is only if they drew a secret and chose not to play it, and based on their mana, you probably assume that is not the case. So we're pretty much looking at 2 damage, 2 damage, and 1 damage. So I'm going to put 2 damage here, 2 damage in here with the Lunarva's attacks. And now we know both of the cards in their hand. We know that they have evolutions that they're stuck on. No, we can. Then I'm going to play this Lunarva, another one of those, putting me down to 7 mana. We pretty much knew that they had another copy of the replica, so they get a replica. This time it's only as big as the Lunarva we played, which is going to be 4. And then I'm going to attack it with Mirage using a Demley's Infectious Touch, or rather it should have 4 health and 1 damage. Unfortunately, the Infectious Touch attack does not have the lifesteal built in, so Mirage doesn't get to heal that. It's an ability on the Demley itself. And then with the remaining 7 mana, we're going to drop this big boy, Pyroke, which is definitely not in the starter set. This is one of the additions I made. And it says at the end of my turn, we're going to deal 2 damage to all fighters and heroes. And then it's got a nice big 4 attack. So I'll bring that out and end my turn. So it's going to bring this token up to 3 damage. It's going to kill all 3 Demleys. Fortunately for our opponent, because I think that is all 4 in their void now. We get 3 more prizes. It's going to be 2 damage on all of our things as well. But I'm going to go ahead and use Saving Grace, same surprise we played earlier, to save the Lunarva, so it still has 1 health remaining. And things are looking very bad over here for Bilaask now. Probably have to pay 5 health to give them a prize again, because we have to be able to play fighters. We do have 2 attack from the Supermassive Slingshot. So let's go ahead and take out one of the Lunarvas. 3 prizes left. We can eke it out somehow. Now I'm going to play another new type of card, in part just to show it off, and in part because we can't do anything else. And we're going to play an arena card, Mob Arena. So it affects both players equally, which is true of all arena cards. Also, only 1 arena can be out at a time. And if somebody plays an arena, it discards the old one or voids it. So I'm going to go ahead and play 2 to search my deck for a fighter that costs 3 or less. And I don't know if we have something better, but I'm just going to grab a Pillfish. We actually had one on the top of our deck. So we got another one of those, but I can't really play it because it would just get taken out by attacks. They could easily finish off our Taunter, kill the Pillfish. Even if they didn't, it would take some damage at the end of the turn from Pyroke. So I'm going to save it to play it and hopefully evolve it in a single turn. But I guess I should check the cost. Yeah, this costs 5, so we can... Well, next turn we'll have 10 mana, and we can play it and evolve it. Although, I don't think that's going to be good enough anyway, because it will still have Summoning Sickness. Alright, so our opponent's down to 20, but we have to finish off that Taunter first. Meanwhile, on this side, that card I said I hoped I would get at a different time is an evolution of Liddy. So if I can use their Mob Arena, maybe I can search up a Liddy. Let's do that. I'm going to pay 2 to search my deck. Hopefully there's another Liddy in here. I would assume there is. Yeah, there's a couple more in here. So we'll bring that out, pay 1 to play it. And we get to reveal one of our opponent's surprises, but they don't have any. And then I'm going to pay 5 to evolve Liddy into Cerbercat. Reveal all my opponent's surprises. And Hyperheat deals 4 plus 2 for each of my surprises, which is none. But I can't attack this turn anyway. You just need 1 more on that. Raj can't attack because they don't have any fighters with attacks. So use Lunarva to finish this off. See if we can hit a surprise. But again, they probably would have played it. Yeah, we know their whole hand anyway. So then we'll take that out, take a prize for that. Attack with this Lunarva, reveal another card, but it doesn't matter. Deal 2 to put them to 18. Attack for 4 to put them to 14. At the end of the turn, they're going to take 2 and go to 16. But I've got to take 2 onto all mine as well. Oh, I might have ruined it. Well, I guess it takes better planning ahead than mine, because I think I just lost the game. 4 here, 2 here, and all 3 of these take lethal damage from the Pyroke, which means we completely shot ourselves in the foot with this Pyroke. Our opponent gets to take the last 3 prizes on their side. And that's it. We would have happily paid 5 health to give our opponent prizes, but we don't have Bilaask's ability. Could have used more saving graces, I suppose. But I guess the lesson is just don't play Pyroke into a board full of low health fighters, especially when your opponent only has a few prizes left. And my face cam just died anyway, so good timing. Thanks for watching. Subscribe so we can get more subscribers, and bye.